What's going on, everyone? Alex here, taking a little break on my walk. It's a heatwave city over here in Poland at the moment, very hot, 34 degrees, 35 tomorrow. And I'm sitting here by the river, just pondering what I can share with you guys on the vids. And I was thinking about one of the common questions that I get around a lot of the work that I share, which is centered around how to stop thinking so much. A lot of people come to me with challenges around psychological blocks and rumination. That's a common one, worrying and overthinking. And I'm no stranger to worrying and using worry as a life management strategy. A lot of us can get into the habit of thinking too much and using worry as what we think is a tool to improve our lives, whereas in actual fact, we all know what worry does for us. It doesn't tend to feel great, doesn't tend to lead to too many good things, it just makes us more miserable. So the big question that I often get is, what do I do to stop thinking so much? And it's a very common question, it's a very common human challenge, is once you realize the fact that overthinking isn't helping you, then the question emerges, well, how do I stop it? How do I slow it down at least? How do I live a life that's free of overthinking and free of rumination and more still and more peaceful? And give me a second just to think on this for a sec. How to stop thinking? Well, here's the truth. We're never going to stop thinking. We're going to have thoughts that arise, good and bad thoughts. They will arise for as long as we live. That is what it means to be human, is we have thoughts that are delivered to us, and we have no control over the nature of those thoughts. To a degree, we have no control over the fact that thoughts are going to come through like they do on a kind of conveyor belt through our minds. We have all kinds of thoughts that are going to come through without forcing them, without effort. And that's just the way it is. They're going to come through. The issue is when we hold on to the thoughts that come up. We hold on to a thought and we grab onto it for dear life, and we immerse ourselves in the thought, and we allow new thoughts to arise from that thought, and we get over analytical, and we kind of get into a downward spiral of thinking about thinking. That's the issue. We need to be aware of the difference between allowing thoughts to come up and watching them go by and just getting on with our day and focusing on what's right in front of us in the present moment. There's a difference there between that and watching a thought come up that might worry you and then holding on tight. And I've seen people and I've seen it in myself obviously a lot, certain thoughts will come up, maybe in response to what's going on around you. Maybe you've had a setback, you've suffered a setback in your life, and a thought or several thoughts come up that make you think hard about the thing, and that tends to not go anywhere productive because we feel our thoughts. This is something that we really need to grasp, this idea that whatever thoughts come up, we're going to feel the thought. So if it's a momentary thought, we're going to feel it momentarily. But if it's something that we ruminate on, we're going to feel the rumination. That's why we get miserable when we get worried. So we need to see the distinction, first of all, between watching thoughts go by and not digging into them, and getting on with our day and being present, and how that's going to benefit our emotional experience. And secondly, how different our experience becomes when we hold on tight to a thought. And we have the choice at any given point in our day to watch thoughts go by and let go, or hold on tight. And those people that really struggle and have stress in their lives are the people who they don't see the value in letting go. They see the value. They think there is value in holding on tight. They think that they have some semblance of control over their lives by holding on to thoughts that come through. So that's the first aspect of this in finding a solution to overthinking, is knowing that you have the choice to let go or to hold on tight to thoughts, but also that thoughts are going to come through regardless. The second aspect that's really helped me is understanding that you get so much more by having faith in just being there in the present moment with uncertainty. A lot of us don't like the feeling and the sense of uncertainty in the not knowing what's coming next, and that's why we tend to think. We overthink things and we try and anticipate what's coming next in our lives, and we try and pre-plan everything, and that's a strategy that doesn't tend to work very well because it just leads again to worry. So when we can be okay with the idea that we don't know what's about to happen next, and we can just kind of relax into that moment and lean into the uncertainty and just sort of step up and go about our business without really knowing what's going to happen, that's a powerful position to be in, because it's very much a state of letting go, which is going to improve our performance. It's going to make us better able to deal with reality as it comes. Does that make sense? If we're relaxed in the not knowing, we're going to be physically relaxed, and that's going to put us in a much better position to be creative, be resourceful as needed in the moment with whatever challenges come along. So that's another thing, is we need to know that we are better when we can relax into the moment and not need to know everything. We don't need to have a grasp on everything and what's going on. We don't need that control. And it sounds like you're out of control, but you're actually going to be much more in control in a funny kind of way, because you're better able to deal with what's coming your way. Ultimately, when you're not pressurizing yourself and you're not in your head, you're not in worry, you're in the moment, you're better able to see things for what they are, you're better able to have that clarity in the moment. That's going to just do you so much better. So it's about understanding that worry is actually a ultimately unhelpful strategy for dealing with life, and leaning into uncertainty and being okay in the present moment, just being there and doing stuff and being in action is going to be what is going to benefit you the most. Ultimately, you're going to do better, you're going to fare better by just being there. And yes, it can be very tempting to, when you have a problem in your life or a perceived challenge, to sit and ruminate on it. But you've got to understand that though there might be some benefit to planning ahead in your mind briefly and then putting that plan on paper, there is some benefit to that, sure. But it's when it gets cyclical and kind of out of control, problems tend to arise. So we need to recognize that for what it is, that it isn't helpful, and that the real help, the real benefit is going to be in leaning into uncertainty and also relying on a kind of internal guidance system that is there automatically for all of us. You could describe it as a spiritual thing if you like, whatever. But what's true is, and you know to be true, is that whenever you're relaxed, whenever you're kind of chilling in the shower or whatever it is, you tend to get the insights coming through. The best ideas tend to come when you're most relaxed, on a walk, in the shower, whatever. And you're not in worry in those moments, and that really is the best indication of all of this working, is when you're out and about and you're relaxed, you're going to be performing your best, you're going to be delivered the insights and the wisdom and the intelligence that you need to be able to better deal with your life. So have faith in that, have faith in the process that we all have access to, this kind of gift that we have access to, which is a sort of innate intelligence that comes beneath all of this incessant thinking. It's a sort of separate thing. There are two channels to our thought process. There's personal thinking on the surface layer, and then there's the sort of internal creative force that is trying to get through, but because we're too wrapped up in heavy thinking, we tend to block it off. So have faith in that, have faith in that internal guidance system that's basically showing us the way and making us more resourceful at any given point. That's what I can fit into a 10-minute video without going further. I can talk about this a lot longer. But for those of you who've got questions about how to slow thinking down, just to sum it up, understand that thoughts are going to come and go as they do until we die, so we can't physically block thoughts, but we can choose to turn away from holding on too tight to thoughts. And instead of doing that, we lean into the uncertainty of the real present moment, and that is where your power lies. It's in being okay that you don't know everything, and that things are going to come to you effortlessly in your mind that are going to help you with the present moment, and they're going to help you with your challenges. So we can go through life theoretically, and I'm experiencing it more and more. We can go through life fairly effortlessly. We don't have to force our way through. We want to stay in action, absolutely, but we don't need to force, we don't need to grind teeth to find solutions. They will be there. That's it from me, guys. Hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, do leave them in the comment section below, and do subscribe, do like this video if you liked it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.